English Essentials, a learning series.
Writing Fundamentals. Hello, and welcome to this module of English Essentials at the University of Windsor. Today, we are focusing on writing fundamentals, and specifically, we are going to be exploring the idea of developing arguments. This topic clearly relates to writing, and as Ramsey Isler mentioned, all good writing is persuasive writing, persuading the reader to buy what you're selling, to side with you, to believe the tales you tell. So, in this vein, we're going to be exploring how to build strong arguments, how to craft writing that is persuasive and convincing so that our readers truly believe what we're trying to tell them.
All right, so hopefully you were able to do some very productive brainstorming on that previous activity involving the autonomous cars. Now let's look at brainstorming strategies. And I first want to just touch on the term brainstorming because it has different meanings depending on who you speak to. The term, in its most literal sense, usually is understood to mean when groups of people sit together and they discuss ideas, they exchange ideas. So imagine, for example, a setting in a business office where three or four, five, six people gather together and they're dealing with a particular issue or topic that needs to be addressed, and they have sheets of paper and they throw ideas back and forth and they discuss the pros and the cons of things. That's typically brainstorming in its strictest sense. The more wider umbrella term, brainstorming, basically is what we mean by pre-writing. It's that stage that you go through before you actually start constructing sentences and paragraphs. So in other words, it's used synonymously with pre-writing. Okay, so brainstorming, let's look at it this way as the collecting of your own ideas. Now, the next step will be gathering these ideas from reputable sources. Key word there, reputable. Okay, and we're going to talk a little bit about that later. But this will be your research. And then organizing the ideas that have been generated and collected. All right, quick recap. Collecting your own ideas, gathering ideas from reputable, solid sources in the form of research, and then organizing these ideas that have been collected. Now, first of all, a little disclaimer here, there is no single best way to brainstorm. There are numerous strategies, dozens and dozens of pre-writing techniques. Um, some writers swear by a certain technique over all others. Many writers will follow two or three strategies that typically work for them. The takeaway here is try some of these. We're going to present you with four strategies of the many that are out there, but these are four of the tried and true. These are ones that have been used for years and years, for decades. Writers have adopted these and had real success in generating ideas and developing their papers by using these techniques. So this is what we're going to be looking at in the coming slides. So these are the ones that we will focus on. We'll begin with something called free writing. We'll then move to one called listing. Another one which goes under different names. Some people refer to it as clustering, mapping, mind mapping, bubble diagram. And another one which is called asking journalistic questions, or what we know as the WH questions: who, what, why, where, and so on. So those are the strategies, and we will look at these individually. We'll examine the characteristics of these different strategies and look at some practical examples where they're actually being put into use, and you can see why some might be more effective in certain situations than others. You might find that a certain one immediately appeals to you. You might want to experiment with all of them.